Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. Today we're talking and asking, is there a possible serial killer in Austin, Texas? Before we get into it, please hit that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified of all our content. Also, I'm going to take this time to acknowledge our channel's partnership with DataSeal. If you're interested in protecting your personal privacy and don't want your personal information, such as your name, address, phone number, religious preference, or voting preference, all out there on the winter in the interweb, I recommend looking into DataSeal. They have a network of people that will eliminate your information off the web, so that way you're protected and not, you don't have to worry about being stalked or people finding out your preferences. And so, if you're interested in that, look into the comment section. There'll be pinned in the comment section, and also information is in the description box. So, with that being said, does Austin, Texas have a serial killer? Well, first and foremost, I'll say we got word of this information not too long ago that there was a possibility of something like this going on. Police had came out saying that they believe that the deaths were not related to each other and that were merely just accidental. However, I was watching a show yesterday on JB Gunner's channel, and he brought to light a couple of incidences that maybe could equal out to some more nefarious situations. So Austin, Texas is up the road from us. Let's look into it and let's give our 2 cents and determine whether or not there's something more dangerous or more nefarious than accidental drownings here. So this comes from the dailymail.com. It says fears of a Rainey St Ripper serial killer in Austin after eighth body less than a year is pulled from Lady Bird Lake in the city. All right, so let's read this and then we'll give our 2 cents. Austin residents fear there may be a person on the loose after an eighth body in just 10 months was pulled from the lake in the city. John Christopher Hayes Clark, 30 years old, was the last person to be found deceased in the Austin Lady Bird Lake on Saturday. Texas police patrolled the waters by boat after several people reported of an unresponsive person in the lake around 1 p.m. His identity was confirmed on Monday. It is unclear how long his body had been in the water. Earlier this month, 33-year-old Jonathan Honey was found passed on April 1st. Cliff Axel 40 was discovered on March 5th, and March 5th, I'm sorry. And Jason John 30 was found on February 13th. A further four unidentified bodies have been recovered from the lake in the past 10 months, according to Tron. Terrified residents have set up a Facebook group and taken to TikTok to voice their fears and that the deaths may be connected. And so here's a picture of one guy. This is Jonathan Honey. It was found on April 1st. Looks like an avid fisherman. That's a pretty good size striper there. This is Jason John 30. He was found on February 13th. Cliff Axel 40 found on March 5th. He leaves a wife and kids behind. Okay. Investigators claim they did not suspect foul play at this point in an investigation, but so many bodies found a quick succession. Residents remain fearful. A private Facebook group called the Lady Bird Lake Serial Killer with more than 50,000 followers was created when Jason John's body was discovered in February. The autopsies for the men who died this year were not available, but police said that their bodies showed no sign of trauma. And so when it comes to somebody discovering bodies and the police figuring out whether or not they were accidental drownings or if there was something more nefarious that occurred, you first got to look at the area in which they've gone missing, and then you look at the bodies themselves. There's going to be some clear signs. Is there any visual signs of a disturbance or an altercation? Was there torn clothing, buttons of their t-shirts snapped off, scratches, defense wounds, things of that nature? From my understanding, all of these have been ruled a drowning, which means that water was in the lungs, meaning they were alive when they went into the water. So if there wasn't a fight, then one would suspect that possibly somebody was drugged. However, they only believe that alcohol was involved. Doesn't, a toxology report is done when autopsies are done. And so if they're not finding anything there that would indicate that somebody was knocked unconscious due to a drug or a narcotic, then you have to rule that aspect out as well. And so, no blunt force trauma in some of these victims. The only that needs to be connected is the fact that there was possibly alcohol involved and easy access to the lake. But let's get into it and let's read more, because it is kind of concerning when you look at the fact that 10 bodies or 8 bodies were pulled in the last 10 months. That's not a small amount, and it does need to be investigated. Let's continue. The autopsies for the men who died this year were not available, but police said their bodies showed no sign of trauma. Austin police said the cases remain under investigation with evidence being analyzed. They added that the cases share a combination of alcohol and easy access points to the lake, which can be hard to see at night. That makes a little bit of sense. However, they claim that while each incident occurred at the lake, the circumstances, exact locations, and demographics surrounding these cases vary. Investigators have not released details regarding the whereabouts of all the men before their deaths, but have revealed both Jonathan and Jason were seen on Rainey Street before their separate disappearances. Rainey Street is a vibrant area in Austin, known for the nightlife and boasts an array of bars and food trucks and restaurants. Lady Bird Lake is about 1.8 miles or 35-minute walk from the street. There are no cameras around the lake. And so if there is somebody out there convicting these crimes, and they are aware that there are no cameras, it could be as easy as somebody kind of just hiding out in the area, waiting for somebody to go out there, somebody intoxicated, maybe perhaps to relieve themselves with urination, and are getting pushed into the lake. I think that's a possibility. And if somebody is doing that, and if somebody is, taking advantage of these guys going into this area to do such thing, and then pushes them in, then that would be considered a homicide. And obviously, with the amount of bodies that have been found in the recent area, in the recent time, it could possibly lead to a serial killer definition. So we'll continue. Jason John's family believes there's more to the story behind his son's death, and think that the 4 men are somehow connected. He was last seen walking home. Jason was he was last seen walking home. Jason was 30. Jonathan Honey was 32. 2 in the morning, Rainey Street. So there are some similarities in this case. Jason John's mother told Fox 7. Elsie added that she doesn't agree with the initial ruling that no foul play was involved. She fears more men might end up dead. We definitely don't agree with that, she said. We don't know how many Jasons and how many Martins and how many Jonathans are going to be losing their lives again, and this is not acceptable. Meanwhile, Cliff Axel, 40, was identified by his sister on Facebook. Axel, who was a married father of 2, was found in the lake on March 5th after he went missing near Stubbs in downtown on February 25th. So this is an area. This is where Rainey Street is, and here is where the 1.8, mile apart, 35-minute walk to Lady Bird Lake off of Colorado River. And I have a map here, and we'll look at that here in a second. But I just want to show some of these images real quick. This is Jason Jones, last seen on Rainey Street. Here's a picture here of the food trucks. These are other bodies that were previously found. This is Julio Santos and Martin Gutierrez. Martin was found with several injuries after landing in the lake following the night at Rainey Street. And this is Christian Pugh, was found alive in the lake back in 2019, but in rough condition. He sustained a blow to the head and bruises to the hands. So let's go ahead and look at this area first and foremost. So I know that Google Earth says that this is Lady Bird Lake. This is part of the Colorado River. I believe this aspect of it is the Lady Bird Lake. Rainey Street is right here. Now, is it possible that they're being washed up into Lady Lake? So you have your dam here, which means the water should be coming and flowing this direction. Is it possible that they're falling in closer to in the Colorado River and happen to be washing up over here in the lake? I think it's possible. Let's take a look. So if you're out here on Rainey Street in the Bar District and you wanted to relieve yourself, so to speak, you could come down to this trail that has easy access to the Colorado River. As you can see, you can't tell there, but the lake is, or the river's not too far in. So you would probably start to walk this direction and maybe perhaps look for an area to relieve yourself. You can see right here, there's a disturbance there and probably over there. So I wouldn't be surprised if people stand there to go urinate. But it does, there is very much easy access. If you were to apply alcohol involved in this, then you can suspect that perhaps it'd be very easy for somebody to fall in. Now, from my understanding, there is no swimming allowed in the Colorado River or the lake. You can paddleboard, but that is, paddleboard, kayak, things of that nature, but that is it. So just to kind of give everybody an idea of what this area looks like. I mean, the water doesn't look like it's a high flowing river, but looks can be deceiving for sure. And I mean, you have a bridge right here. Um, Typically, especially in Austin or in Texas, your homeless will sometimes hang out under the bridges, make camp under the bridges because of the fact that it's extremely hot. And there could be or is a possibility for a homeless issue in Austin. So um, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody homeless was, or somebody out here could have been doing something nefarious. Let's go back. So this is one of the men that was found to have had some issues. So this is from KX8N in Austin. On Monday, Travis County Medical Examiner Office released the autopsy report for the death investigation of Martin Gutierrez. The autopsy report shows that the ME found the case of Gutierrez's death was a drowning and the manner of his death was an accident. Despite the report, Gutierrez's family tells KXAN they don't believe his death was an accident. They are still uncertain about what happened in the early morning hours when he disappeared and how his body wound up in the lake. Gutierrez was reported missing on November 19, 2018, and was last seen on Rainey Street in downtown Austin, where he had been out with his friends. Gutierrez and his friends, Gutierrez's family and friends canvassed the downtown area with an extensive week-long search. Then on Monday, November 26th, a caller to 911 reported someone in the water on Lady Bird Lake near the 1300 block of Riverside Drive. Let's look up where that is. 1300 block of Riverside Drive. Okay, yeah. See, I mean, they're saying Lady Bird Lake, and I understand that this part says Lady Bird Lake. From that other image that we had seen, it made it allude that they were over here. But if they were on the 1300 block of Riverside Drive, that's still up in this area. That's near where this trail is. It's not that far off. And so, is it possible that these bodies are getting washed up in that direction after falling into the lake? Very much so, in my opinion. All right. Gutierrez was reported missing on November 19, 2018, was last seen on Rainey Street in downtown Austin, where he had been out with his friends. Gutierrez's family and friends canvassed the downtown area with extensive week-long search. All right, so we read that. The next day, the Austin Police Department and family confirmed the body was Gutierrez. Gutierrez was from Big Spring, Texas, and graduated of Texas Tech University. After graduating, moved to Austin and lived with his brother and his brother's girlfriend. So this is from the autopsy report. The medical examiner office found that there was a bruise to the lower part of Gutierrez's head, but no skull fracture or brain injuries. This injury was listed as blunt force trauma to the head, and the ME office noted that he had bruising on his scalp. Now, are they assuming that these bruises may have came from being washed, dropped, falling into the water, and maybe perhaps debris in the water, or sticks, rocks, things of that nature may have caused these type of things? Perhaps. They also found generalized swelling in his brain and chest cavities. The report stated that Gutierrez had his ID and his bank cards on him when he was found, and added that he was a proficient swimmer with no history of seizure disorder or history of illicit or prescription drug use. The ME's office reported that they found alcohol in his blood but no prescription drugs, and so he wasn't drugged. Michelle Gutierrez, Martin's older brother and roommate, explained that the doctor with the ME's office told him that Monday that because his brother's body had been underwater for so long, it was breaking down, and it is possible that other substances could have been in his system and released from his body undetected by this autopsy report. Okay, so that's good to know. I don't think this was an accident, Michelle Gutierrez maintains, because it took so many days to find Martin's body. Mitchell said she feels that it's still a possibility that how long his brother was in the water skewed the autopsy reports. The worst part was knowing that he was underwater, drowned, and that he was by himself, Mitchell said. Michelle believes someone intentionally hurt his brother. Mitchell, I'm sorry, and believes somebody intentionally hurt his brother, perhaps at one of the several bars that he went out to that night. I know my brother, and I know somebody did something to him. Nothing will change my mind. Mitchell said somebody did something to him, and hopefully we'll find an answer sometime. Before this, I wouldn't think anything about other people or other stories, and now that this is all I can think about is how much that happens on a daily basis. He said. Police officers he's spoken to about Martin's case have told him that sometimes people behind malicious attacks will brag about what they've done. Mitchell believes someone hurt his brother, and he hopes whoever it is slips and starts talking about him. Mitchell said he and his family are still looking for answers about how his brother died. And so let's read about his disappearance. On November 18, Martin had gone out with his friends on Rainey Street. His family members previously told KXAN that he had gone to Blue Street Pearl and purchased one drink, according to his bank records, family members say. Then he went with his friends to the Alibi, a bar next door. The Alibi told XKN that the staff at the bar refused to serve Martin alcohol because he seemed to be intoxicated and was acting strangely. The manager at the Alibi told KXAN he didn't see anything suspicious in the surveillance videos, but did see Martin hanging out with his friends. Martin was later seen on surveillance video leaving the bar at 1:15 in the morning and running south down the street. Family members said Martin parted his friends and then was looking for a ride home at that time. A short time later, Martin was seen on a business surveillance video at Holly Street near Rainey Street heading towards I-35. Martin's family members said that he was behaving in the videos was out of character of him. His brother told KXAN back in November that it almost appeared as if Martin was frolicking in the surveillance video, which was totally unlike him. Both Lucy Pearl and Alibi said that they could not share the surveillance video because they had already turned it over to police. Mitchell still believes that foul play was involved. Okay, so, if he was running around and he was frolicking and he was moving, is it possible that he had to urinate? I think that's possible. The fact that he only had one alcohol beverage, according to the family, based on his records, that doesn't necessarily mean he only had one. I mean, there's the possibility that his friends were also purchasing him alcohol, things of that nature. I'm not familiar with these bars. I don't know what type of bars they are. Um, you know, so I can't tell you. Maybe perhaps somebody was purchasing him alcohol as well. Maybe somebody did put something in one of his drinks. But if he was with his friends, there's a good possibility that maybe somebody was buying him drinks and he had more than one, despite what his bank record said. But it is interesting, and it's interesting to note that he did seem was acting uncharacteristically, and then his body was later found. So I think there should probably be a little bit more investigation into this case. So this one was another male that was found, but he was found alive, but very rough conditions. So after nearly 60 hours, a 21-year-old man reported missing over the weekend in Rainey Street has been found alive. Christian, who was found on the other side of Lady Bird Lake near the Congress Avenue Bridge. All right, let's see where that is at. Congress Avenue Bridge. I want to know where that is at. Seeing this Congress Avenue Bridge. I'm not sure if that's the only one, but that's going further away from the lake. My opinion. I mean, this is supposedly that lake, according to that one picture that we saw. And so it's very much possible that they're calling all of this area, even the Colorado River, part of the lake. And if somebody's falling in from Rainey Street there, it does make a little bit of sense. From what I've been able to see, there's only been two of the many people that have passed there have some sort of injury outside of, the accidental drowning. Those other guys weren't described to have had blunt force trauma or any of those things. It seems like there was only maybe two of them. Let's continue this. Christian was found on the other side of Lady Bird Lake near Congress Avenue Bridge in very rough condition. Christian was found deep in the brush along the hike and bike trail, an area not easy for those on the trail to spot by passing by. He was conscious and taken to the hospital. When we located him, he was in rough shape, but we were able to work with law enforcement to get an ambulance requested immediately. Christian was reported missing around 1:30 a.m. Sunday morning after hitting up Rainey Street. His flyers fill the area as the hours he was last seen continue to grow. Multiple agencies like the volunteer group Travis County Search and Rescue assisted in eventually locating Christian Tuesday morning alive. We deployed a variety of teams throughout the area, and as one team was beginning their search, they spoke to some local people that were in the area who reported having seen something. According to police, Christian was last seen at Clive on Rainey Street, but this isn't near where he was found on the south side of Lady Bird Lake, a 5-minute drive. So he was found completely on the other side. So is it possible that somebody he got on a ride or got picked up by somebody and something nefarious happened? They dumped him there. That's quite possible. I'm curious to know if if Rainy Lake and that entrance point where you have the trail there leads, if it runs down this direction, if his body could have ended up there by flowing through the river. How he managed to get from one to the other, who knows, said England. It would have been difficult for a casual passerby to come upon him. It really took a combined effort and talking to some of the locals in the area and those combined search skills to make sure they came together. Last year around this time, a similar incident happened on Rainey. A 25-year-old Martin Gutierrez was reported missing after going to a popular bar in the district. Crews spent days searching for him, eventually finding his body in the lake near the hike and bike trail. And so they used that situation that we just talked to kind of try to figure out where he was at. And that's pretty much the end of that. So let me know, guys. What do you guys think? There's a lot of bodies that are coming up. Two of them which had some other injuries other than you would expect from just somebody accidentally falling and drowning. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys think that there's something nefarious happening in Austin, Texas? We're not too far from there. Myself, Blue, and Hyman may end up going out there and checking and scoping out the area ourselves and coming back with a clearer picture of what it looks like and how possible or how easy or how difficult it could be for somebody to fall into the lake. Let us know what you think. Hit that like, subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And with that being said, I'm Daniel J. This is the Drunk Turkey Show. We'll see you guys tomorrow night live.